Welcome back to Overtime Fantasy, where we go beyond the whistle to bring you home a fantasy championship. And we hope that a lot of our listeners brought home some fantasy championships like myself. And I am the Lone Ranger on that. Did anyone else bring home a fantasy championship this year?
Way to get selfish in 3.5 seconds. I love it.
Sorry, I just had to rub it in some faces. I'm
Wow. Just gotta love it, huh?
Brought home one and the one I did not want to bring home.
Yeah.
The one I didn't care about.
Yeah. Yep, so today we are going to talk about our 2018 Fantasy MVP, our biggest letdown of the past season here. One thing we were right about going into this season, and one thing we were wrong about going into this season.
God, so wrong.
A little bit of Super Bowl predictions. One rookie that we're looking forward to seeing next year. And then we're going to wrap it up with a super early bold prediction for next year.
Super early.
Super early. You know we love our bold predictions here on Overtime Fantasy. So it's been a while since we recorded, guys. It's good seeing all your pretty little faces. I like seeing Tyler all shaved up over there. That looks good.
It's grown back.
Is this because Andrew Luck shaved his beard off?
No.
He has the Andrew Luck jersey.
Yeah, you guys can't see right now, but it's a special edition, too. He's got the gold-plated numbers right now on it.
Ooh. Got it for Christmas.
Yeah, that's pretty official, dude. I like that.
I'm sitting here in my Redskin hoodie, and I thought I was a boss, but Tyler has this army type, like he's about to go to war with Andrew Luck.
Him and Andrew Luck running the front line.
I feel like if Andrew Luck was to go to war, it would be Civil War.
Have you guys seen the Captain Luck Twitter page?
No,
That's
the
literally
greatest.
one of the funniest things ever. Like, it is so funny. Whenever you get a chance, go to Twitter, go to Captain Luck. Is it Captain Luck or Captain Andrew Luck?
Yeah, Captain Andrew Luck. It's like he's in the Civil War and he's talking in old text.
It's all like letters to his mom. It is so funny. And he just talks about we marched over the mountain to
Houston.
Yeah, it's so funny the way that they do it. I was about mid-season when I discovered it. I went back and read every single one of them. They were that funny.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely something to look out. Tyler, do you write that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't.
He wishes because that
is
Twitter
hilarious.
page has millions of followers. It's ridiculous.
Could you imagine how big I'd be like, I made my way over to Overtime Fantasy.
Yeah, right?
I mean, hey, we tell the listeners to follow this page, but we don't tell them to follow our page now. Don't we have our Twitter still up and running?
Yes, our Twitter's still up and running.
Yeah,
follow us.
Be sure to follow us first. All right, that's what we
Follow
want.
us at Fantasy Overtime on Twitter.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, guys.
Instagram is at Overtime Fantasy. Facebook is at Overtime Fantasy.
Big things in the work.
I just want to say one
we're-
thing, guys. I want to say one thing here. Last year was the first full year of Overtime Fantasy.
Yep.
We definitely learned a lot. I've had a lot of fun
Oh, yeah.
with you guys. This was a great time. This year we're going to come on stronger. We're going to be better. We're going to be more prepared. And you guys are going to, I guarantee, my bold prediction is 500 followers.
Nice. I like it. I hope you're right.
Was it winners don't get comfortable?
If you're winning, you ain't comfortable.
That's right.
Mike,
right.
you uncomfortable over there, huh?
I'm always uncomfortable, man.
I'll tell you, I actually won I had an ESPN league I just did not care about, and I swear to God, 13-0, undefeated, breeze to the playoffs.
I've never done that. That's a goal of mine.
The league was very casual, I would say. They let me they pretty much gave me the league.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it, guys. Let's go ahead.
I just want to keep touching on what you were saying in the 2019. We're going to have a website. It's in the making right now. It's going to be overtimefantasy.com.
No spoilers.
What's that?
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No.
It's
We're going to have a
Just a little
website.
bold prediction.
It's going to be up and running. Like Phil said, we're getting better with every podcast, and we're going to come out strong in 2019. We're excited for it.
Absolutely. Get prepared.
Get prepared.
Man,
All right.
it's on to the first annual Overtime Fantasy postseason award show.
Award ceremony. We're passing out trophies and everything.
Dude, you bought a trophy that is like 18 feet tall.
It's 4 feet tall. It's a
Okay.
4 foot tall trophy.
I think. Oh, it was on the table, so it looked like it was 18 feet.
No, it's pretty legit. It's gonna. I got to get some nameplates and stuff for it, and put everybody's name that had won my league.
The nameplate that's currently on it is for the most improved player.
In a little league.
in a little league game.
Like, did the MVP get like a brand new trike?
No,
Like,
he got a house.
This trophy was literally probably a foot shorter than the player that had to carry it.
That's true. The player that carried it might have been shorter than this trophy. It's pretty massive. For most improved player of the year, that is bananas.
I would purposely suck just so bad one year and then just come out and dominate the next to get that
If
trophy.
that, my whole thing is, if that's the trophy for most improved, I want to know what the MVP trophy looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe it's really little just to keep them humble.
They got a ribbon.
He got a ribbon.
Yeah, a nice effort award.
Yeah.
One of those.
Way to go, pal.
a participation.
Yeah.
award,
We're
like,
tired of buying you trophies. You know, you win it every year.
It's
We
like,
get it.
wow, okay, good job, dude. Yeah, you had like 37 touchdowns this year. Get over yourself.
Awesome. You had 36 last year. You improved by one.
The Stay Humble Award goes to All right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it, guys.
Let's do it.
gonna
Let's do it.
Our-
Who wants to
our,
kick this off with your MVP
I'll
for
go.
this year?
I will. I'll do it.
All right. Let's
I
hear
don't
it.
mind. I'll do it. All right. My team, my league MVP will be Christian McCaffrey. This guy coming on into close to the playoffs was averaging like 30 points a game. He was a monster for the Panthers this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do next year.
Christian McCaffrey is so good this year.
Yeah.
And it, like you being on my couch, you like when we ever were watching football, you were just, come on, Christian, and it was just always going to him.
Every single
play
play was going to him.
It was awesome.
But then in the beginning of the year, I was a little pissed off with him
Yeah,
because he was more used as a decoy than anything.
yeah.
It was like a decoy, and then he'd throw it to somebody else. I'm like, Cam, if you don't give him the ball, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. I had a tough decision. I had three guys that I really liked. One of them was C.J. Anderson, and I only used him for one game.
Yeah.
So I almost picked him because he got me the championship win. But I ended up going with Devontae Adams. And the reason I went with Devontae Adams, he was my third-round pick, and he ended up finishing the season as the number 4 wide receiver. You know, he was solid, like, honestly, so solid for me all year. He only scored under 10 points in our format one time. And that he scored like 8 points. You know, so he had a solid game every week, week in and week out. And then other than that 10-point game, so it was like 8 points, 10 points, and then the next lowest was like 12 points. If you're getting 12 points a game out of a receiver, like he had some big games too, but like if you're just getting just 12, and I'm very happy with that. Actually, in PPR format, he didn't score under 10 points once this season,
That's crazy.
and that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the wide receiver, just kind of going through like what exactly each did, and Devontae Adams, like he never lost you a week, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
like he would pretty much help you win every week, and then there would be weeks where he pretty much almost single-handedly win the week for you.
Yeah, he,
like if you were going into a game and you needed him to have like 15 points
You
to
felt
win,
good.
you're like, I got this.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. He, you know, and with him being my first receiver in the third round, like I was nervous. You know, you always get nervous with that position that you don't start drafting to the third round. And because of Devontae Adams, I didn't have to worry about my wide receiver position at all this year.
Yeah, he definitely had his breakout year. Now I don't know about you guys, but he's definitely jumped into my top 5 for wide receivers. I don't know where he.
That's unquestionable.
If he's in your top 10, I get it. But if he's not in your top 5, then I would like to know who is your top 5.
Yeah.
Honestly, because he showed me so much this year between being that number 1 receiver for Aaron Rodgers and the go-to every single play target. I mean, he's definitely grown from his years in Green Bay, and it's showing.
And he just catches the ball.
Yeah.
Like it's bananas the way he catches the ball. It's crazy.
All right.
What do you guys have over there?
I go. I think me and you got the same one. I'm gonna pick Pat Mahomes. The reason why I'm saying Pat Mahomes is because you did not spend anything. You pretty much got him for free. You either picked him up off of waivers, or you spent a draft pick in the last 2 or 3 rounds to get him.
Yeah.
And I mean, right out the gate, he established himself as the best quarterback, and
Oh yeah.
he did not have a bad game. Like, he didn't have a game where it cost you. He pretty much carried you the whole way. The fantasy playoffs. I mean, he had great games in the fantasy playoffs. So, just for those reasons alone, and I mean, the guys you said are definitely MVP worthy. But I'm gonna pick Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I think we're basically going off of like our teams right now, like who we thought like the MVP was that we had on our roster.
Yeah.
But as far as like the overall MVP, no doubt about it, Patrick Mahomes. I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely. Like, you get that, and like I had Todd Gurley on my team. That's easily a MVP as well. Stuff like that.
The runner up for my team, just because we're talking about quarterbacks here, would be Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Because I drafted him in the 11th round.
Oh yeah.
And I drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd.
Yeah.
And I only started Russell Wilson 2 times.
Yeah.
And I remember that there was a podcast. I think we were talking about the QB rankings, and I think I mentioned it, or someone else might have echoed it. That Matt Ryan he pretty much had that MVP season, almost fell off the fantasy football earth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it was almost just bound to bounce back. I mean, not in like a crazy big way, like we're expecting, like he would.
Yeah, I think I said that one of my predictions was I believe Matt Ryan comes back to his MVP form this year.
Yeah.
I don't think I said it on the bold prediction podcast.
We talked about it because that's we talked about it mainly after you drafted him. You were excited about him. And
everything. All the pieces were set for him to have a great year. But definitely going back to your MVP pick, Mahomes. My God, we were skeptical about him in the beginning, and how wrong we were is ridiculous. It
was to the point. It was to the point where we weren't sure, like, okay, how good is Travis?
We didn't know
Kelce
what to
gonna
expect.
Be? How
nobody
good is
did.
Tyreek Hill going to be?
Yeah,
nobody knew what to expect with him. And that's why I think whoever predicted him to have a great year, good on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had Patrick Mahomes as my MVP, but there was another guy that I was thinking about too. And since Phil, you did a running back, Kendrick, you did a wide receiver, and you did a quarterback, the guy that I was looking at is Eric Ebron.
Oh man,
okay.
Of course, it's a Colt guy.
No, it's not. It's not because of that. It's a guy you didn't draft, or you drafted him in the 14th round. And he put up 750 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're basically, that's exactly right. This guy came out of nowhere, and thinking that because if Jack Doyle doesn't get hurt, what happens with Ebron?
I think he would have been utilized, but it wouldn't have been as much. And 13 touchdowns from a guy that was undrafted or picked up very late in the draft. He very well. You never had to worry about a tight end when he was in.
Yeah, I was really surprised that it was. I forget. It was one of the later weeks where Jack Doyle came back, and we were talking about how much Ebron would have been utilized that week. And I think even you were like, I still think that Jack Doyle will come back. He's going to get most of the targets. And it turned out like 3 tight ends had a touchdown that game, I think.
Yeah.
But Ebron had like 2 of them.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of yards.
And a
whatever.
rushing touchdown.
Yeah, and a rushing touchdown. And I was like, what is going on? Man, like Ebron's having the year to remember, like a contract type of year. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, that was a good one. That's a good one.
So, what's next? Somebody that disappointed you?
Yeah, right now we're going to go with our team's biggest letdowns of the year. I'll go because I tried to trade this guy multiple times and I had no bites, and that is Alex Collins. All right, you're talking about a complete letdown from what looked to be a promising year coming out the year before. The end of the year, he was running hard. I mean, he had multiple 100-yard games and a couple of touchdowns. Going on to this year, like he would have nothing but maybe a rushing touchdown, get you 6 points, and that was it. I'm like, man, they stopped giving him the ball. They weren't throwing to him. They weren't giving him the ball to run. They would put Buck Allen in the game. And then I said, okay, Lamar Jackson's coming in. They're going to run the ball like crazy. And Alex Collins just a no-show.
Did he get hurt or was he?
He wasn't hurt. He was banged up maybe a little bit, but they decided to go with Gus Edwards. And then the one game against the Chiefs is when he got hurt. So I was like, I'm done with it. I'm over him.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
And where you were like selecting Alex Collins in like the third round, maybe
Right.
fourth,
Yeah.
that kind of potential and that high of like a draft stock, and just have it crumble, it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the type of area where, you know, a player like Lamar Miller would have been, or
Chris Carson.
Chris Carson would have been if
you
someone
talked
did.
him up so much, and you picked Alex Collins over
No,
Chris Carson.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because honestly, I thought Chris Carson was going to fall to me. I didn't think you guys would actually listen and pick him up.
Right.
But yeah, he was definitely gone.
Yeah, and the one thing with Alex Collins was that he was just on a short leash. Like, he fumbled once.
And it was
He's
that was
done.
it.
He's
That was
done. Not for just that game. Probably
for like the next game. Yeah, and it was always like, oh yeah, we're gonna give Alex Collins more carries, and he had like 2 more carries the week before. So yeah, he was my biggest letdown of the year. Who knows what's gonna happen next year? But I believe it's gonna be just all around Lamar Jackson.
It's gonna be Booby Tom next year.
Booby Miles.
No, Booby Dixon.
I don't
That
believe
booby
it.
spin.
Oh.
Let Booby spin. You want to win? Put Booby in.
Now, my biggest letdown is a guy that was so talked about because where he went this past season. And he was getting drafted 4th overall in his position, sometimes 5th. And that was Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham, when he went to the Packers, everybody was like, oh, we got to get him. He has Aaron Rodgers now. He's going to blow it up. He had 630 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That is, and where he was falling, 4th round, 5th round, right after Kelsey, Ertz, and Gronk went. I mean, his production just wasn't there. And it was probably a big letdown for your team if you use that high of a draft stock.
Yeah. I wasn't really targeting Graham that much. I'll tell you, I'll kind of segue into mine, which is Rob Gronkowski. That's a guy that I really, like, going into the year, I really wanted.
That's going into every year, Dan.
I loved. I mean, I'd name my team after I put Gronk in there somehow. Like
Gronky Kong, Gronk My Horn,
oh yeah,
Gronktoberfest.
now it's like Gronk you.
Go
That's what
Gronk.
I might
More
name.
like Gronk me.
Yeah,
Go Gronk.
exactly.
Go Gronk yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, going into the season, I just thought that he was, you know, the way the Patriots were kind of setting up on offense, they didn't really have the weapons. You just kind of figured Gronk would just be the focal point, you know, being a red zone target. You know, he never was productive at all. Like the first game of the year, he had that monster game, 100+ yards and a touchdown. After that, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, they would say multiple times watching the games that it looks like he's running like an old man.
Yeah.
He was running like he was hurt, like he just didn't have his legs underneath him and all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, if Gronk played the whole season like he did against the Chiefs this past weekend, it would have been a whole different story. But
Absolutely. I just don't think he's built for that anymore.
he's not. I think this is the final ride for Gronk. I do.
Yeah.
If he plays next year, like, I mean, he's like a streamer to me. That's how I'm a treat
I feel like he's retiring after this year. I think this is it.
A part of me hopes he does because he just looks just like his body took a beating.
Yeah.
You gotta think every single year they made it to either the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
So
Great.
you had a great career, buddy.
He looks like Voltron out there with all those braces.
He's running around with a billy club. I mean, think about it.
Looking like Jax out there from Mortal Kombat.
That's awesome.
That was ridiculous.
All right, Kenner, who you got? Who's your biggest letdown?
I wish I'd have known that you guys were taking tight ends because I took a tight end as well for my letdown. And my letdown was Evan Ingram. I took Evan Ingram in the 7th round. I normally don't take a tight end that high, but from what everyone was talking about, like ESPN and everything was saying, oh, he's going to be a top 5 tight end. You know, he's going to be one of the best. And, you know, so I couldn't pass on him in the 7th round, and I was so excited. And he ended up getting hurt like week 3 and then was out 3 weeks and then come back and had a bad game, then a good game, and then, a string of bad games. It was just like it was getting to the point where I couldn't trust him, and all I did was start streaming, and I held on to him until like week 10, 11, something like that, maybe even later, and then finally drop him. When I drop him, he starts putting up big points.
Well, yeah.
Like at the end of the season, he ended up putting up average points, and I think in the last game in week 16 he put up like 12 points, which was like the best game he had all year. But I was drafting a tight end in the 7th round. I was expecting him to do that multiple times in the year. Not every time. I was expecting some down games and stuff, but I was expecting him to get average 7 points, 8 points a game. On the year, but he didn't even come close to that. He was a big letdown for me this year.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say the tight end streamers this year were just terrible. So holding on to Evan Ingram, I mean, that's not a bad move because you drop him for who?
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Herndon?
It's difficult. It was definitely a difficult year for tight ends. All right, so let's go ahead into what was one thing that we were correct on with our bold predictions. Anybody want to take it first?
I'll go. Well,
Tyler's chomping at the bit on this.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Let Tyler go.
Go ahead,
He's
buddy.
excited about
he's
this.
so excited. I know.
He's been excited about it.
I came so close on all my bold predictions. So close, but one finally came through. I predicted Tariq Cohen was going to have a better year than Jordan Howard and finish as a better fantasy everything than Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
And he finished.
I wasn't on board with that.
No.
So I was wrong.
And,
I wasn't on board with that either. I knew he would be good. I thought where he was going in the draft was a great value for him. I thought he'd be a great streamer kind of flex. No, he turned out to be very good. Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure where I stood on that, but I know
you
now.
drafted him.
I know I drafted him because you talked him up so much, and it sounded nice. And it paid off real good. But basically, him in that offense, they fit. That he fits very well in that style of offense.
I'm going to give you a crazy stat, right? Ooh. Before the season started, Tariq Cohen was ranked 110, and Jordan Howard was ranked 26. Jordan Howard.
Ooh, man, that's crazy to think.
What's it at now?
Tariq Cohen finished 94th, but Jordan Howard finished 110, which Tariq Cohen was projected at.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So suck it.
Tariq Cohen was only 94th, huh?
I thought he'd be higher than
I thought
that.
he'd be a little bit higher than that, too.
I think he's talking
about overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantasy overall.
Fantasy overall. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it
has to be fantasy. There's no way he'd finish 9th.
Yeah, not in running
It's
back.
on my Yahoo. So
as running back, or
I have two compared
okay.
players.
All right,
okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I'll
go ahead, Dan.
All right, I'll go next. I wouldn't say this came true, but I had a bold prediction that Mitch Trubisky was going to be top 12. And this was at the start of the year, before any games were played. And he finished, according to Yahoo Standard Leagues, he finished 15. But he missed 2 games against the Lions and the Giants. And I think he averaged about 18 points a game. If he were to just get the averages for those 2 games, he's a top 10 quarterback. And like I said, I watched videos on YouTube of highlights he had last year. It wasn't that many because he was, awful his rookie year. And I'm telling you, he had that 60-yard run against the Saints, and I'm like, wow, this guy is mobile like that. And now you're bringing in an offensive-minded head coach. Shoot, I mean the upside is there. I'm not gonna waste a draft pick on him, but if everything falls into place, he's a top 12 quarterback, and I was close on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you were riding that hand all year.
Yeah, that was your man.
Yeah,
that's my guy, man.
Yeah.
And I will say, I mean, watching him play like a real life quarterback, he's like a gunslinger. He's inconsistent sometimes, but he has that big playability, and I mean that's what I like about him.
Yeah, so just to clear things up, Tariq Cohen was the 17th ranked running back. I don't know why I even thought there was a realistic that he'd be 90-something.
I think that's just overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, 90-something. You're talking Samaje Perine.
Darius Geis, who didn't play a snap.
But isn't that crazy
James
that
Devlin.
and that Jordan Howard was like pre-ranked 26 out of
Yeah.
all NFL players.
Yeah,
They go,
yeah.
I mean, we gotta think they go by what they did the year before.
And
they
now,
don't
now
go
Jordan
by
Howard didn't
knowledge,
finish
really.
too far behind. He only finished a couple positions behind Tariq Cohen.
He was
But-
behind though.
Yes, but he did finish behind him.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta think, man. I mean, those other guys like Yahoo, they go by what they did the year before and all that stuff. Here at Overtime Fantasy, we go by knowledge. We know
That's
these
it.
players. All
That's
right,
right.
We're going to predict exactly where they're going to finish next year. So
Exactly.
Exactly. Within one position.
within 0.1 position.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. Yeah.
Bold prediction. All right, so what I was on at the beginning of the season, and I think I was against everybody in the world, I said during the draft season last year that Odell Beckham Jr. would not be a first-round pick for me. And you guys kind of laughed at me. And I said that he was ranked number 9 in my wide receivers position, and you guys definitely laughed at me for that one. He ended up finishing 16th as wide receiver.
All right, Go
and,
ahead.
And I went back and I replayed that podcast. And I just told you guys, other than the obvious like Antonio Brown and DeAndre Hopkins, I said that I liked AJ Green, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and Keenan Allen more than I liked Odell Beckham. And all of them finished over Odell Beckham except for AJ Green.
But you know
So
what?
you
You know
failed.
what? But you know what? All those receivers have in common.
What's that?
They have a good quarterback.
Hey, I'm just saying, I didn't want to draft Odell Beckham, and everybody laughed at me because I said that there was not a first round value for Odell Beckham.
Hold on, you said not a good quarterback. You're talking about the 2-time Super Bowl champion who slays Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
The
He's the
last
only
time he won a Super Bowl was in 2012.
You're
He's
talking
the
about
only
GOAT.
person that's under.
2010, right?
Eli is
I don't know what it was.
Eli is a terrible quarterback, and that went partially into my dislike for Odell Beckham, other than the fact that I didn't like Odell Beckham as a person.
2-0 against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Just saying. One of the times Tom Brady was undefeated. Never lost.
You sound like a Joe Flacco lover.
You sound exactly like a Joe Flacco lover.
But no, that was something I was right about in the preseason coming in, that he didn't even finish top 10. I thought that he would finish at least top 10, but I didn't like him. A lot of people were taking him first, second, and third overall at wide receiver. I didn't like that. I didn't like him in the first round at all, and I didn't like him in the first half of the second round. And it paid out to be true on what I predicted. So that's just something that, and he didn't have a terrible year. He had a decent year.
He was hurt, I think.
Yeah, the last 3 games of the season, he didn't play. And I honestly think, and that was another thing that I said in that podcast, I said, he's not somebody that's going to play through any type of injury. If he stubs his toe, he's going to be out that week.
Right. Yeah.
And that's, I don't know how serious his injury was, but they were eliminated from the playoffs. So he just went ahead and sat out the last 4 games of the season.
All right. Just hating.
You
over
hate
there.
that he proposes to
Yeah.
field goal post.
I know, man.
Or
The kicking that.
I'm
kicking
about
net, that's what it
I'm
is.
about watching football. I'm not about watching these little sideshows go on.
He was trying to do the
all
Bachelor.
this dancing, and I don't like that stuff, man. I like to watch football.
All right.
I like to watch people like Larry Fitzgerald score a touchdown, hand the ball to the ref, and then go over and high five his entire team.
You don't want to
that
see
is
like
pretty
a
cool.
choreographed dance afterwards. That's
No.
why I watch football.
No,
Man, oh man.
I'm about
Redskin,
the true art
Brown.
of the sport.
Redskin Brown.
That's why I hate the Redskins. They don't have choreographed dance.
Yeah, it's so bad.
They do, but it sucks so bad.
All right. My bold prediction, which was kind of just I just winged it. There was no facts behind it. There was no true belief behind it. But I said that Aaron Rodgers was going to have a bad year. All right. It came true.
Yeah,
A lot to do with the injury.
It wasn't an Aaron Rodgers type year.
No, and I think the only reason why I said that was because I didn't like the receiving core that he had. I liked Devontae Adams, but I didn't think he was going to have that great of a year that he did. I didn't see the support cast that he had. I just something in my gut was like Aaron Rodgers isn't going to finish in top 5, and
You wasted a very early round pick on him, and it didn't pay off.
yeah, I mean, if you spent your first round pick on him, you definitely were regretting that.
I mean, honestly, you're any pick within the top like 8 rounds because you got guys like Luck, Ryan that outproduce them. And
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
I mean that's crazy. And then the thing is with Aaron Rodgers, I mean he could have been gone first week because that injury that he had, it could have been just one more pound of pressure from Khalil Mack could have probably ended his season right there with the knee injury. But he played through it. I know that was bothering him for a while. He did return to Aaron Rodgers form, but it still just didn't look like the same Aaron Rodgers out there.
Yeah.
So that was my crazy bold prediction. And I know you guys thought I was going to go with Chris Carson probably, but I didn't. Even though he finished in the number 5 in rushing yards this year. I'm just saying.
You just had to add the sniff at
He
the
did.
end.
He did.
Yeah,
He had to do
Little
all
sniff,
that.
Like that just strengthened the
Hey man,
the sentence. Just
you know
by-
what? I hear people. All right, so yeah, those were our bold predictions that actually paid off. Now I'll start with the bold that did not pay off.
That makes us look like idiots.
Now this one made me look like a real big dummy over here about my Oakland Raiders rant that I went off. I thought I had a pretty good one. Now this was before that Khalil Mack left. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. And especially it was before they got rid of Amari Cooper, who turned out to be a pretty good fantasy wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jordy Nelson actually can still play a little bit. We saw that at times when he can get the ball out there. It looks like there's a lot more pieces of the puzzle for the Oakland Raiders to put together to be a complete team. And but I still believe that Derek Carr is a good quarterback. And but that bold prediction of them winning 10 games and the division.
Did you see that headline where he challenged Stephen A. Smith to a UFC fight?
I think I've read something.
I don't
like that.
know if it's true or if it's fake news that's out there, but I think it's pretty real. Like
I
didn't
believe
click
I'm
on
a
it
firm
and read it.
believer of if you're going to talk this much stuff about an individual, you have to be able to back it up.
Yeah,
I actually like that. If Derek Carr said, "Hey man, catch me outside,"
Yeah.
how about that?
Yeah, because Stephen A. Smith told Derek Carr, I'm certified to talk about football. You're certified just to throw football.
Oh,
He said
And
that
it's-
on his radio today.
Did he
It's
really?
it's so bad. I mean, this guy.
I'm not a
is-
fan of Stephen A. Smith. I don't like
Nah.
him.
This
Like,
guy-
especially after he was talking about what Hunter Henry was going to do in the Chargers game. Oh, I don't know, about 12 weeks after he got injured for the year. He's like, yeah, I'm really excited to see what Hunter Henry's going to do. And like the other broadcasters were like, what?
Like, bro, honestly, I feel like he should just stick to basketball. I mean, he's really that's his only sport that I actually listen to Stephen A. Smith about is basketball.
Yeah.
Because he did play a little. I don't know. It was like a little college basketball back in the day, I think,
Yeah.
and that makes him, in my mind, able to talk about it a little bit. But football wise, just sit down.
How many words has he created over the past year?
know.
Blasphemous.
He's added 30 words to Webster's dictionary.
My bold prediction that did not come true. Phillip Rivers. I said that he was going to throw for 4,700 yards, 40 plus touchdowns, and less than 10 picks. He ended up throwing for 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
Yeah, but that's not really a
I feel-
letdown. Like,
I
you're
feel like
still
you're-
extremely happy.
Yeah, I
with
feel
that
like
guy.
your bolds really weren't that bold.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My other bold was Juju was going to finish with 1,000 yards receiving and at least double-digit touchdowns. He finished with 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. So
Like I said, I feel like your bolds just really aren't that bold.
they were at the start of the
it
season.
was Juju was a fairly bold prediction at the start of the season. Only for the fact that
I don't see it.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. There was a lot of people that were really high on him, and there was a lot of people that was really low on Juju. So he was kind of like a 50-50 shot for, if you were high on him, you loved him, and you had him up there pretty high. But I just, that one was a little. They were kind of bold. They weren't way out there.
Now, in the beginning,
this
I
is-
will tell you what though. When you did say that first about Phillip Rivers, I thought there was no way that he would finish that as well as he did. But then I thought about it more when we were talking about it in our podcast about the weapons that he finally had. And once I saw the weapons he had, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because you forget that Mike Evans was hurt. I mean, Mike Williams was hurt the entire year, this rookie year.
Yeah.
He came back with a vengeance, so.
I was really pulling for him.
Yeah.
And he didn't even finish in the top 3 of quarterbacks.
Really?
No.
Yeah, no, he finished.
He had
Like,
he had a
7 or 8.
he had a really good year though.
If you're a quarterback and you don't run, you're just not going to be top 5.
His
Kinda how it is.
longest run was in the playoffs, and it was 9 yards.
Yeah, he finished 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9th.
Yep.
Wow.
Crazy.
All right,
Crazy.
Something I was wrong about this year, something that I was talking about going into this season. I was high on Demaryius Thomas. I predicted that Demaryius Thomas was going to finish in the top 10. I really loved where he was getting drafted. I was really excited about possibly picking him up in the 4th, 5th round, where he was going, and he ended up finishing 46th overall at wide receiver, and just did not have the year that I thought. I thought going in there, I'm like, man, he's got a better quarterback this year. He's going to come out and do big things this year, and it did not happen for Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah. I was kind of on that Demaryius Thomas train as well, and yeah, he was. I don't even know what happened. I mean, does he have anything left in the tank? I mean, will he produce in Houston?
I think he will. I think he needs I think he needs an off season with Watson, and to get more familiar with the plays and all that stuff. And I think next year he's gonna have a lot better year than he did this year.
My biggest letdown. I don't know if I talked about it that much on the podcast. I know it was in my notes, but I was heavily invested in Doug Baldwin. He was going kind of that early 4th round. I know that he had a knee injury to start the year. It was kind of scaring some people off. I was all over him because there was receivers that were going before him that I was like, all right, well, I want Doug Baldwin instead, so I'm gonna get him at a discount. And, he's going to be Russell Wilson's top guy. Russell Wilson's going to be throwing the ball a lot. That just didn't happen. He sucked it up for me.
Yeah. That's a tough one because Russell Wilson, man,
Yeah.
we all know how Russell Wilson's year was. I mean, he finished very efficiently as far as a quarterback, but they did not throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so we did our bold cotton picks that did not pan out for us. Let's go ahead and get into the Super Bowl, guys. Super Bowl predictions. What do you think?
So we're going to talk, wrap it up with the last game of the season. Then we're going to start talking about next season a little bit here. So my prediction, Super Bowl, I think the Patriots. I think they're going to win mainly because of their experience in the playoffs and Super Bowls in the past, their coaching experience, Tom Brady's experience. I think that's what's going to win it for them.
Is there anybody here that's not taking the Patriots?
I think it's going to be a good game. I'm taking the Patriots. I think it's going to be. This is what I'm thinking. I think kind of like a last-second drive. Patriots went on a field goal, and Tom Brady just walks away as the unquestionable GOAT.
All right, here's my prediction. You ready for this? In 2001, Tom Brady had a magical season, and they beat the Rams, right? Nobody thought the Patriots were going to beat the Rams. Fast forward, how many years later?
Hold on.
18.
18 years later, Rams, Patriots again. I'm predicting right now that the Rams win the same way the Patriots beat them in 2001.
Oh.
With Legatron hitting like a 57-yard field goal to win the game.
65.
Break the leg.
I'm
That's
rooting
my
for the Rams, though.
prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. I think that after this year, Tom Brady will not go to another Super Bowl.
You know what my prediction is? I think even though I want the Rams to win more than anything in this world, I think the Patriots are going to beat them 42-10.
That's extreme.
I think it's going to be a complete
defense.
blowout. I think Jared Goff's going to have he's not looked the best. And when you're playing against Bill Belichick, he's going to make you have to play at your best.
Yeah.
And here Jared Goff lately has not been playing his best.
Yeah.
And I think Gurley, I don't know what's going on with Gurley, but God, he's
not
looking
good either.
bad. And you got C.J. Anderson who's looking good, but
Yeah.
I think Bill Belichick's going to just outcoach Sean McVay. They're not going to be able to get it going. It's going to be a blowout, 42-7.
I think if the Rams want a chance at winning, they need to get that defensive line in there getting pressure every play because, the Patriots were hammering Patrick Mahomes last week.
Yeah.
And they didn't touch Tom Brady. Tom Brady had all day back there to pass.
Yeah.
So if the Rams want a chance at winning this game, they have to get those monsters actually doing what they know how to do.
It's
and
a
then
Super Bowl.
they'll have
man.
a chance.
They're going to be flying around. They're going to be super excited.
Oh, yeah.
The experience is so heavily with the Patriots. Now, that could play a big factor in this game, but I believe that this is going to be the final ride for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
I think this is his last Super Bowl.
Same. Yep.
Last Super Bowl. I think he plays 5 more years after this. So 4.
Wow.
4 years. I said 5 last year. It'll be 4 years after this one.
I think
All
if
right.
he wins this Super Bowl, he's done.
I don't see him
With
retiring.
everything that came out last year
Yeah, yeah.
and the offseason, I think him and Gronk just ride out.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
so let's see here. Let's get into these.
Well, real fast. I'm going to talk about what I think is going to be the perfect lineup
Oh, for DFS. Okay,
for
go ahead.
DFS. I'm going Jared Goff, Sonny Michel, Rob Gronkowski, C.J. Anderson, and Robert Woods. And you can buy that. You can purchase that in FanDuel. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can do it in DraftKings, but I know you can do it in FanDuel.
It's gonna be a little different than DraftKings. But you had it was Goff, Michelle,
Gronk.
C.J. Anderson, Gronk,
And Robert Woods.
Yeah, I mean that's solid, man. I really think like Sony Michelle has to be in lineups.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the MVP.
And now I
I mean, yeah,
He'll be the MVP player for the
Right.
for FanDuel
Yeah.
to own. I think one player that you have to add is Cordell Patterson. I think because he won't be owned in a lot of leagues or percentage wise.
Yeah.
He'll be that player that's kind of like the sneak attack, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Somebody that's like 1 or 2% owned
Yeah.
that's going to come in there
Between him and my guy from Eastlake High School, Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
I mean,
I almost put Higbee in there, but I had
he's-
enough money to put someone like Robert Woods in there, so I was like,
Yeah. I think
I
he's
don't
going to be
want-
like a 4% owned type player that
Yeah.
can get you a touchdown or like maybe
Now-
a big catch.
Now Higbee and Cordell Patterson would be great if you run Goff and Tom Brady
Yeah.
yeah.
because you would be able to finagle that to afford, but you may not even you might be able to get somebody like Sonny
James
Michel
White or Edelman, something like
yeah,
that.
you might be able to, but you're going to be cutting it close at that point if
Yeah.
you run both of those quarterbacks.
And the crazy thing is that watch like when this game happens, like the very first drive, it's going to be a touchdown from like someone you're not even going to be thinking about.
Like Devlin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might be like Steven Gostkowski with a fake punt, or fake field goal pass to like someone.
And a pass,
And they get
pass to the holder,
Yeah.
which is the punter. So the kicker and the punter get a
It'll be
touchdown. On the
they might get like a lineman touchdown, honestly.
yeah.
So yeah,
Any
that
lineup
yeah.
is possible to win. But
Absolutely.
I like it, man. Like that's actually a good lineup if you want to play it like in a cash tournament.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, a cash game. Like head to head or double up. I think that's a really good lineup.
All right, so we'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit more after the Super Bowl. Once we do our next podcast, I figure we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's move on and talk about who we're excited to see as a rookie next year.
All right, now I'll say that I don't watch college football that much, so I'm gonna leave it to you guys.
All right.
You guys tell me who I'm gonna look out for, and
There's a lot of defensive players coming out this year that
it's
I'm
a very defensive heavy.
Yes, it is.
and it's defensive line and it's linebackers and all that stuff. It's more of the front four that you're. It's a big draft for that. Now, one of the fantasy wise players that I'm looking forward to is Josh Jacobs, the running back from Alabama, number 8. This guy, I learned a little bit more about him after watching the college football playoff and stuff. This kid came out as a 3-star running back.
Yeah.
And he came out in a year where they already had, Derrick Henry there, and they had Damian Harris, and a 5-star running back in Damian Harris coming there.
Yeah.
This kid runs harder than them. He has shiftier moves. He has a quick burst. He's physical, and he can catch the ball. He's a 3-down back. He's a miniature version, in my book, of Saquon Barkley about what he can do. Not the freakish versatility that Saquon has, but he has enough in his game that he can actually produce fantasy-wise, I believe, next year.
What stands out the most from Jacobs was that game against Oklahoma. I think it was his first touchdown. I don't know how many touchdowns he had in that game.
Oh, you talking about when he ran full speed at the dude?
Goodness, dude. Like,
he basically pointed at him and said, "Let's go."
yeah, like you don't see running backs bring it like that.
Put it this
often.
way: have you seen? This is a little off topic as far as like what, but I'm getting somewhere. You seen Major League 2, the movie?
No.
Basically, it was a catcher versus catcher play at the plate, and they were like running full speed. It seemed like that. The catcher was waiting for the ball, and the guy running down third baseline was like, "Dude, you're about to get got."
Yeah.
And he lowered everything he had into him.
And he didn't slow down after he just kept going. Like
he knocked that kid out of the game.
Yeah, like he made that kid question of why he ever played football. Like he destroyed him.
You remember Mario Kart where you have all them stars and stuff, and you get hit and you lose your stars?
Yeah,
he was a 5-star.
Yeah.
And after he got hit, he dropped down to a 2.
Dang.
So basically, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do because he turned it on in midway throughout the college football year. And the other guy I'm looking forward to seeing is Marquise Brown. He's number 5 for Oklahoma wide receiver. He's Antonio Brown's cousin. And the kid I think he will come close to hitting a 4.240 this year in the combine.
Wow.
The kid is a crazy sprinter. They had in the spring game, they had a contest of like, you think you're fast on campus. So they gave the kid a 15-yard head start, and Marquise Brown is at the goal line, and they both start. And when he basically caught him at 30 yards and was just like jogging next to him. Like just staring at him, looking at him, and he was like, "Man, this is it. This is easy."
Yeah, he's super fast.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's to me, he'd be like more of a Mike Wallace type utilized player, just a deep threat and a punt returner. But he's a game changer for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So who I'm excited to see going to the NFL this year? Of course, I had to pick him from Ohio State. I've been watching him all year. Is Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback for Ohio State. Really, at the beginning of the year, I did not like Haskins. I didn't think he was that great of a quarterback. Mainly because I'm used to having a quarterback at Ohio State that
is there for 10 years,
that can get it done on their feet. Like I'm used to seeing that, because of J.T. Barrett was there for so long.
How long?
Before him was Braxton Miller and all that. So I'm used to seeing somebody that if they get a little bit of pressure, they can, run up the middle or bounce it outside and get you a first down, where Dwayne Haskins wasn't doing that. He was throwing the ball away or taking the sack. But, when it comes to the end of the year and he's got, the most passing yards and I think he had the most passing touchdowns, he kind of showed what he can do. He had 4 wide receivers with 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, he's the most pro ready. I think he's, his arm strength and his accuracy, when it comes to being a quarterback, I think he may be one that can start next year if he goes to the right team.
I'll tell you what, with him, he looks like, for him being a first-year quarterback, like a 1-year playing quarterback for Ohio State, he looked so calm in every game.
Right?
He didn't seem to get, when they were down or things weren't going well, he wasn't, struggling.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with J.T. Barrett being there and him, following him a lot. But he's definitely one of the top 2 quarterbacks that will be most ready for the NFL draft. So,
yeah, and I saw there's a bunch of teams that he may go to. It all depends what teams are like trading up and stuff like that. But they were talking about he might go to New York. He might to the Giants. He might go to I think Washington was one of them. Maybe depends what they do with Alex Smith. And then since Cincinnati, they're talking about replacing Andy Dalton. So, and I think if he goes to any of those teams, he could sit a year. Like he could sit behind Eli Manning for a year or something. So,
All right.
Look, man, it's not more that I want to see him play in the NFL. I just want to see what's going to happen, and that's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that's a big question mark there.
Dude's 5'4". I'm calling it right now.
He will definitely run the fastest 40 for a quarterback. He might beat out some running backs, and
because what I can see is I could see him getting drafted in the first, but I really think that he'll fall to the third or fourth, and whoever gets that guy might get. He might be the best pick in the draft if you get him at third and fourth. He has the talent.
You know what's kind of crazy? The Oakland Raiders have already talked about drafting in the first round.
really, wow.
They've already tried.
Oakland is all in on this guy, aren't they?
They really are. They
There's
really
an
are.
agreement. You play football and then you play baseball.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
to me, this kid is Doug Flutie 2.0.
really.
He's one of those
That
guys
doesn't really
that's going to
get me
have
excited.
to. That he's one of those guys that's going to have to jump in the air to throw the ball
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But the way that things are looking these days with quarterbacks and the system they're changing, it's not. To me, it's not impossible that he will have a great career. You know, I really feel that if he gets his feet under him and starts, you know, and if he's in the right system, he can be like a Russell Wilson type of quarterback.
Well, the reason I'm excited to see what he does is because he has that professional baseball type caliber player in him, and watching Patrick Mahomes in his interview saying baseball helped me a lot. It helps me with all my off balance throws. I don't have to be set to make a throw or anything.
Yeah.
I really think Kyler Murray's going to be the same type.
I mean, he's definitely capable of making all the throws. I mean, the kid can throw flat-footed 60 yards. I mean, he has a gift. It's just he was not gifted with height,
Yeah.
which is
I can't wait to see what happens.
be interesting.
All right,
so let's get into
last
it.
segment, super early bold prediction for next year.
Can I start this off
Please
just
do.
so I can see?
Is it Eric Ebron?
No.
Is
It's
it
no. To be
Andrew
honest
Luck
with
wins
you,
the
I
MVP?
wasn't gonna have a Colts player until you took Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. You
So-
did steal Patrick Mahomes.
So
I
I just want to
did.
see. I just want to see
Okay.
Phil's face. Jameis Winston's going to be a top 5 quarterback next year.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah. Wow.
With Bruce Arians
Yes,
there,
that's
I'm
what I was
not.
going to say. Bruce Arians there. I think he's going to be a top
Jameis
5
Winston
quarterback.
has the capability of being a great fantasy quarterback. Now, will he win games? Probably not. But he will throw for how many yards? About 4,000 a year,
Yeah.
and he'll throw for like 40 touchdowns.
Now-
But he will have at least 37 interceptions.
Now think about what I'm saying though. Phillip Rivers had 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 12 picks, and finished at number 9.
9. Yeah.
So it's
I'm saying he's gonna be a
not
top
crazy.
5.
So you're saying that he has the capability of throwing 5,000 yards.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say 4,800 yards and at least 40 plus touchdowns right now.
I'm not
How
disagreeing.
about this? How about
with
this? How about this? Less than 14 interceptions.
that. All right, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Let's get
That's
it.
bold.
He threw that in the first 2 weeks.
He was like, all right, you're not. You're
He
not saying
threw
it's
those
bold
on the
enough, though.
bench.
I am a Bruce Arians
He was
believer.
injured.
I really think.
The stat line was 0 pass attempts with a pick.
I'm thinking.
He tried to throw the ball from the sideline to the judge, the ref in the middle, and he got picked off by the defense. What are you doing?
I think the best situation just happened for Jameis Winston in his career, and that's Bruce Arians.
I hope
coming.
you're right about that one, but I'm not in disagreeing with that. I'm not.
All right, Phil, bold prediction. What's up?
I have one. Okay, now I say Patrick Mahomes breaks the touchdown passing record next year, and one bold prediction
Like
because
career?
of that, and the career touchdowns for NFL would be this reason because I think Antonio Brown's going to get traded to the Chiefs.
That's bold.
That is bold.
Hold on for what? They're gonna have to get rid of Tyreek Hill.
No, they're going to give away draft picks, all draft,
Draft picks to Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And Kareem Hunt.
Might as well get rid of Sam
And
Walker.
Kareem Hunt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Antonio Brown, I would love to see him go to the Chiefs. I'd love this. These are the top 3 landing spots. If they do end up trading him, that I'd like to see him go to. I'd like to see him go to the Colts,
No.
the Packers, and the Chiefs.
Nope.
I like all those quarterbacks thrown to him, and I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patty
that would be
Mahomes.
cool.
Patty Mahomes breaks the touchdown passing record next year.
Man, I don't like that. I don't want him as a Colt.
Dude, we're not talking about you.
All right, so my super early bold prediction for next year is that Saquon Barkley does not have a sophomore slump and he finishes as the number 1 running back next year.
Yeah, that's not a bold prediction.
Hey, That's it.
Well, I mean,
That's my bold prediction.
He's
it's bold.
the best
And
running
honestly,
back.
I forgot what I was going to say, so I have to kind of cut you short. Darius Geis is going to be a top 7 running back next year.
Yeah.
All right, so continue on with the Saquon Barkley. I do think I clearly see that happening. Honestly, I can definitely see that. Just because it showed how much like he's capable of taking the load. I mean,
Yeah.
3 down, 4 down, 5 down, whatever. Put him in there.
Yeah.
Put him on defense one play, whatever. Just saying, he's like Boobie Miles.
I was expecting something bold that wasn't really
No, I'm
bold.
not going extremely bold yet.
I thought you were going to say like
We're a
Cleveland.
year away.
I thought you were going to say Cleveland makes the playoffs or something.
I thought you were about to say
I honestly think Cleveland. I think the Browns make the playoffs.
That'd be
Cleveland
better than
goes-
Saquon.
Cleveland goes 14-2 and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
That's pretty bold.
now-
So
You know.
they
I'm
were.
not trying to get that bold.
There's been talks of Nick Foles being traded to the Jaguars and for Leonard Fournette. So, could you imagine the NFC East division with those running backs they have?
No, I don't want to see
With Darius Geis, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, and Ezekiel Elliott. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So just, you heard it here first if that happens.
You got a bold prediction over
Just
there,
saying.
Dan?
Yeah.
Bring it.
If you want, hold on. If you want a better bold prediction from me, my other bold prediction was going to be.
How are you
And
going
I
to say
didn't wanna-
Dan go ahead and then
I'm
jump through his
sorry.
stuff?
I'm sorry. I'm really caught up
This
on this.
freaking guy.
But like I didn't want to go too bold a year away.
Go bold.
Before it even starts. But I said Dalvin Cook stays healthy next year and finishes in the top 10.
That's not bold either. Go ahead, Dan.
You're ridiculous.
Dude, you can do better than that.
I'm not going extremely
Like
bold.
Carl
dude.
Nassib goes back to the Cleveland Browns and is
I'm
Defense
not-
Player of the Year.
I'm not going extremely bold until we do our bold predictions podcast next year.
Cody Kessler, top 5 quarterback.
Carl
Book
Nassib.
it.
Carl Nassib goes to the Browns and he becomes the tax analysis.
Cody
All right, what do you
Kessler.
got, Dan?
Carl becomes the GM.
What do you got, Dan?
I don't even know if this will be bold. I'm just gonna say it. Derrick Henry's gonna crush your soul again next year if you draft him.
I'm not
It-
drafting
I'm
him.
telling you, he's gonna get drafted like in the 3rd round again. But he is. We all know what type of player he is. He's a guy that he's not involved in the passing game. He pretty much feasted on teams that were just tanking. The Jaguars tanking,
Yeah.
Giants tanking, Redskins tanking. So are we going to get excited about that for next year? I'm not, but people are, and I think this is going to be a big mistake.
Depending on who they get as the offensive coordinator.
That is true.
I mean,
yes.
because the offensive coordinator is the head coach for the Packers now. So whoever they get will depend that crazy topic. I can't even stand it.
But like in Kevin's league, shout out Kevin Cannell. The person that won that league won it solely on the fact that he had Derrick Henry in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, he had to have picked him up.
No, I think he had him on. He was a Titans fan too. So,
So he just had him
yeah,
on the
I think
bench.
he had him on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a bold one. We will shout out Brian Schlamian 150 times next year.
Good night. I don't think we'll have
that's not
150
bold.
podcasts.
It's not bold? Damn it.
in a lapse 60 seconds.
We'll have like 30 podcasts and it'll be like 5 a podcast. Like, all right, shout out Brian Schlamian. Shout out Brian Schlamian. That's 2.
Let's go ahead and hit our quota.
Well, we will have a Brian Schlamian shout out tally board. Tally.
On the website.
On the website.
There
Click.
we go. Yeah.
And we'll have
put
a
that on
picture
the
of
website.
Brian looking like Tim Tebow.
Nice.
You know what a
I
bold
like
prediction
that.
is? Only one whisper into James Weber. That's bold.
Man,
That's going to be hard.
I hope he can hear this while he's out being deployed.
Well, all right, guys. We appreciate everybody listening. It was nice to get back together again and do this. We'll have to determine when we're going to do it again. It'll probably be in a few weeks, and we'll stay in contact. We'll stay doing some podcasts over the summer, over the rest of the winter, over spring and summer until we get. We'll definitely have a draft podcast coming up in April. We might have a pre-draft podcast before that. Who knows? And then draft season starts again around July is when we'll kick it back up and start doing, twice a week or something.
And stay tuned to our be sure to tune in to our Instagram, our Facebook, Twitter, all of our social networkings, because when this website goes live, we're going to post it, and so everybody's aware that we have our website up and running with everything that you need to know to dominate your league. All right,
So it's
stay
going
tuned
to have
for
a
that.
lot of information in it.
Hold on, we're not doing American Lions Football League.
No.
Damn.
Yeah. We might do some daily. We might talk about it a little bit or something.
I
but
was
that's
really
about it.
looking forward to Chad Henne being my number 1 overall pick.
Oh my Lanta.
All right. So, Dan, you got anything?
You know the saying, "New year, new me."
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not going to apply. This is the most I'm going to say that of a podcast. So get used to it.
All right.
Thanks-
We'll have
thanks for listening.
we'll have a
Have a
tally
good
for
one.
that too.